some pain in my mind. Colors dance, spill outside the lines. I refuse to settle. Today we're going to make a topiary, and in the store we carry these, I believe they're about 12-inch topiaries, and I'm going to actually put a pot on the bottom of mine. So we're going to be working mainly on the ball part, and we're going to be using roses and some glitter, and I'm going to wrap the stem in some satin ribbon. So we're going to gesso the balls and the stem, and let me just get this open. So we're going to go ahead and start at the top, and I'm just going to gesso right over the balls. And the only reason that I'm doing this is because I don't want the green. Now if you are doing all flowers and you want it to be green, then you could skip this step. Okay, next I'm going to do the stem. Okay, so I've got that done, and as you can see, it's probably going to need a second coat. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to work on something else while that does. So the next thing I wanted to do was add some glitter to the roses, and these are the red, and then I also have the white. And so I'm going to be using the red fusion glitter, and this is actually going to be a project for a Christmas wedding. It goes along with some of the other stuff I've shown you. So I have just a tiny bit of water in there, if you can see. It's probably a tablespoon. And I'm going to go ahead and mix glue. And I want it about 3/4 to 1/4. And I'm actually going to do this the easy way and take this top off and pour. So the reason that I want it that way is so that I can make it liquidy enough, just barely watered down, so that it will go smoothly onto my roses. And I'm mixing it around with a brush. And now I'm going to spread these apart, and I'm just going to take it and go over the top like this, and I want it to drip off. Okay, and if there's any globs, you just want to brush them off. Okay, I'm going to do all three because they're connected by the stem, and it's a good way to hold them. All right, now I'm just going to go back and check and make sure that there are no areas that are without glue, because I want these to be fairly covered. Okay, and I'm just going to use my finger and tap them off and try and get as much of that glue as I can so I don't get blobs. All right, so now I've got all three of my roses, and I'm going to lay them out flat like this. And I'm going to take my glitter, and in this case it's the red fusion glass glitter, and I'm just going to sprinkle over the top. Okay? And if it's not enough, you can always go back. If you don't have enough glue, you can always go back and touch that up after they're dry. Okay, I'm going to get this back in the jar, and then I can go another swipe. All right, so they're starting to look really good. I can see spaces where I didn't get glue, and so I'll have to go back and fix that. I'm going to make sure these are really tapped off good. Okay, and I'm going to just lay those to the side and let them dry. Now I'm going to repeat and do that with all of my roses, and then we'll be back. We're going to go ahead and give this a second coat. And I'm also going to start on the white roses. And I'm using the Snow Fusion for these. And it's exactly the same process, so you're just going to repeat that, and I will see you back when all of that is done. So our roses are completely dry, and I thought I would show them to you. So that is what the red looks like, and you notice that they're not 100% covered, and I'm okay with that. I just want that glittery look to them. And then the white ones look like this, so you can see all the shine that that glass glitter adds. So those will go on the balls of the topiary. And this particular one fits perfectly into a 4 1/4 inch pot. Now it does have some little knobs on the side to help make it stable if you're not using one. I have taken those off so that it will fit nice and snugly down in there without having, you know, to, well, it just goes all the way down instead of having that lip stop it. And the next thing I'm going to do is put satin ribbon on these stems, and I'm choosing white because it is for a wedding, like I said, a winter wedding, a red and white wedding. And this is just satin ribbon that I picked up at Joann's. It's not anything I sell in the store, nothing special, just white satin ribbon. So I'm going to start here at the top, put a little dab of glue, and I want it to go up onto the ball just slightly and around. And now I can start twisting it. Now I'm going to secure that just a little bit more because it's pulling. So, okay, and now I'm just going to start twisting. And so now we've reached the bottom. We've reached the bottom, and I'm going to secure that to it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And then I'm going to secure this down at the bottom. Okay, that's on there tight. And that little bit of paint that came off is no big deal. It'll get covered with a flower. And now I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to start it at the top, just slightly overlapping. Okay, bring it around and secure it on this side too. And now I can start twisting this side. And I'm just wrapping. That's all I'm doing is wrapping at an angle. Very, very simple. Okay, when I get down to the bottom, I can cut that off. Bring it around. And I'm going to secure it. But I do see where I cut a little bit off, so I'm going to fix that. And bring that off and around and secure it at the bottom. Okay, now I will be putting Excelsior or moss or something on top of this. I haven't decided yet. So I'm not worried about it being perfect, but there you see what I've done. Very, very simple. Okay. And now it is time to start attaching our flowers. So you can leave them on the stem and poke them in that way, which is probably what I will do. But I don't want the stems quite that long, so I'm going to use a wire cutters, and I'm just going to snip them about, oh, maybe an inch. And these stems are thin enough that you can actually use your scissors if you want to. I just tend to go through scissors so fast that if I can find a wire cutters handy when it comes time to cutting wires, that's what I'll use. Now, I wasn't sure how many of these I was going to need, so I made 12 of each, and I may have to go back and make more. We'll see. I'm going to begin on the top ball, and that's going to be my red ones. I'm going to do red, white, and then my pot I've painted red, and I will add a white, I guess you would call it a bunting type thing to it. So let's start at the top here, and I'm just going to insert one right into the top using that wire, and you will have to help it along because the ball is going to be stronger than your wire, and then you just push it down in. Okay, Now, to secure that and make sure that it doesn't come loose, even though you've got the wire in there, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of glue. Okay, so I've got glue on there. And now I'm just going to start building from there. It's being stubborn, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and just glue that one. So put some glue right there and glue that on. Okay, so now I've got 3. Moving on to the other side. Okay, so now you can see I've got the top of my ball covered, and I can already tell that 12 is not going to be enough, so I'm going to have to go back and make some more. But I'm going to go ahead and get what I've got on here so I can see about how many I need. Now this is going to be one of the stubborn ones, so try and poke a hole. There we go. I don't like where that one's laying, so I'm going to do it again. Slightly off to the side. Poke that down in there. And get that so that it's laying where I want it to lay. Put some glue and push it down on. Okay. Okay, so I've got all 12 that I've made on there, and you can see I'm about probably 2/3 of the way done, so I think I'm going to make another 12 just to be on the safe side, and I'll probably need to do at least another 12 or more of the white ones. So I will get that done, and we will be back. All of the red roses are now attached, as you can see. It ended up taking 24 roses to cover that. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start on the white on the bottom, and it's just going to be the same procedure. I'm going to stick the stems in and glue them in. So I've painted this clay pot red. As I said, it's 4 1/4 inches. And the next thing I want to do is just highlight a little bit with the Inca Gold. And after that, I will seal it with a clear coat. So I am using Inca Gold. This is just the gold color. I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of shine, not heavy at all. As you can see, I'm just barely putting any on. Okay, so you can see I've added a little bit of the Inca Gold. It's not heavy, it's just enough to add a little bit of shine. The bride's colors are actually the red, the white with hints of gold, so this will blend right in. Now I will rub this with a paper towel to make it really nice and shiny, and then I'm going to seal it with some clear coat paint. And that will be the bottom of our topiary. This will fit right in there like that. Okay, I'll push it all the way down, but I don't want to do that until I seal it. And then we'll decorate the pot and add the bows, and this will be one completed project. So I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm just shining it up, just taking it and rubbing it to bring out the shine in the Inca Gold. It's very simple. Just do it in circular motions. Okay, and now you can see that just really brings out that shine. That's all there is to it. Okay, so now I'm going to seal coat this just so that it stays nice for the bride, and then I'm going to glue this inside, and I'll be back and we'll finish decorating. We are at the point of the final decorations, and this particular piece was the bride was a flower girl in a wedding, and it came off of one of her dresses, and she wanted it included in the pieces that I was making. So what I'm going to do is cut off from here to here on both sides. There's two appliques, and I'm going to use those as kind of a bunting around the bottom. So let me start by cutting this off. Okay, so now we have two pieces, and I'm going to use a needle and thread, and I'm just going to gather these. That's how they were on the outfit, and so I'm going to gather that up and do similar to what it looked like on the dress. So to do that, I'm just going to do a running stitch. Right along. There's already, if you can see, there's already a seam there, and that's where they had it gathered, so I'm just repeating that. Okay, so I've got my stitch in place, and now I can just pull, and that will gather that up, just like that. Okay, and now I'm just going to go around it. Make that nice and tight, and lock my stitch down. I'm going to do that on all four sides before we continue. Both my pieces have been gathered now, and these little rosettes also came off the dress, so that's what I'm going to cover the ends with. And so let me pull my topiary over here, and as you can see, I've got the red on the top and the white, and then I've got the satin ribbon here, and I'm going to add a bow underneath each of these, but for right now I'm going to work on this part. So the first thing I want to do is add some moss. Let's take some and place it in. Now I'm just tucking and re-gluing where it needs to be glued. And adding if any needs to be added. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. I'll tip it so you can see it. All right, so there we have our moss covered bottom. All right. And now it's time to figure out how these are going to lay on here. Okay, now this was gathered like this before. So I think I'm going to just put a dab of glue, just a little bit, to help keep that gathered. And I'm going to bring that around like that so you can see. Okay, now I'm going to lift that up so I can get it in just the right spot. Start on one side, and I'm just putting glue on the gathered area. I'm going to attach that first, one side, and then I'm going to eyeball it and get it on the other side. And now we're going to turn it, and all I'm going to do is layer this on top of it, same way. So I'm going to start in my center, gather that up, and glue that again, and then layer these on top. Okay, now on this one, I'm actually going to have to glue these back parts down a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to, I think, show. So I'm going to glue these back like that. So it bends in just a little bit and covers up those two areas. There we go. I'm just attaching that to right over the top of that other part. Making sure that's fairly even, and it is. Okay, so that's what we have so far. All right, and now I'm going to put these rosettes over the top of that. And that's our bottom. Okay, and that incorporates, like I said, that just incorporates the flower girl dress that she wanted as part of her decoration. Next, I'm going to attach the bows to these. So I need to pick which side I want as my front. So it's this side or it's this side. And I think I like this side better. So this is going to be my front. And I'm going to take my bows, or my ribbon now, the same ribbon that I used on the stem. And I'm just going to wrap it around, give myself plenty of stem, or I mean plenty of, oh shoot, my brain's not working, plenty of tail on this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and tie that on there. Okay, now when I make a bow, I do it with the tails pointing up and the bunny ears. And the reason that I do that is I get a perfect bow every time. Okay, so like that. And now I'm going to cross and tuck. And I have to bring that around to the bottom. And then pull tight. And then just work these one at a time, holding on to your center. And just keep working it until you get it the size that you want. Oh, that got caught up in the center there. Pull that through. There we go. Okay, and just keep playing with it until you get the size you want. That looks about right for that top. Make sure these are pretty even, and they are. Okay, and now I can go up and I'm just going to fold it in half, go ahead and at an angle and cut. And if I decide I want them shorter, then I will, but for right now, all right, and I'll even all that out after I'm done and have it standing up. All right, just going to repeat the process for the bottom one. All right, and there we have our bows on. And like I said, I will adjust the size and all that once it's standing up and I can actually get a really good view of it. So the next thing I want to do is when you put your flowers on, you're going to have little areas like that have, you know, that you can see the ball through. And so I have pearl pins and crystal pins. And I'm just going to go in and randomly place those. There's no rhyme or reason, just to fill in those holes. So I'm going to bring these up so you can see. They're both round heads, and one is a crystal and one is a pearl. Okay. And I'm just going to put those in. So I'm working backwards here, but it looks like it needs something right here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that in, and I have to put it in at an angle or I will hit the stem. So there we go, put that in like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing that, and then our project is complete. So stay tuned for still pictures, and thank you as always for joining us.
The black and white, rock the neons until the day I die. I'm on a constant search to make my heart swell. Bite off too much, shoot like hell. Half my nights spent in a hotel. The price I pay to escape the conveyor belt. One, you get one heartbeat song. Take it seriously.